Oh, hello, beautiful people. It's your girl, Dabby L. Welcome or welcome back. I appreciate you being here. Super grateful. I have something to talk about. I was literally getting ready for bed, like in bed, ready to sleep. And I just kept feeling like I needed to talk about this. So here I am. Let me give y'all a quick backstory. November 24th, minding my business, enjoying my day. And randomly, when I'm getting ready for bed, I end up getting like content ideas to talk to y'all about. And it's like random good stuff, fun stuff. And one specific idea I write down, it just like popped up in my head out of nowhere. Did not even connect to the other ideas necessarily. But it was a friendship that I had with a guy friend who was like a friend of mine at the time for like 10 years. We know each other for so long. And I wrote down the idea, which I'm going to talk to y'all about now. I wake up the next morning and my sister ends up having a dream that connects to that guy friend. My mouth drops. I'm like, the heck? God had me up last night thinking about random things. And then that person, he ends up coming to my mind. Now you're telling me you had a dream that connects to him? Interesting. And I'm like, anyway, I gotta go run errands. And my day at Walgreens. Tell me why he's there. This same exact guy that I wrote about the night before. I'm talking like the same day technically because it was like the 24th into the 25th. And I see him at Walgreens and we're not on talking terms, so I'm sure he saw me. We did not say anything to each other. And I was just like, God, what are you doing to me? What are you doing? And I got a bunch of signs before seeing him. And mind you, when I saw him, I had just hit a budget that I was really proud of at the grocery store, adulting teens. Okay, I was like, oh, we were under budget. I was supposed to spend 40, we spent like 22. I was so happy. And then I saw him. So in my like highest vibe, I see somebody that I've already felt guided to talk about. So I'm like, huh. And I felt still okay after seeing him, but I was like, all right, God, I hear you loud and clear. That was November 25th. It is now December 13th, and I have yet to record it because I don't know, like some things I just have to sit on and see if it's something I really feel comfortable talking about. And 9 times out of 10, I'm not that comfortable, but God gonna push me to do it constantly. Even with my sexual abuse and all that, it took me a while to get comfortable, and God kept on my butt. And so I know what I feel, I know what I know. So basically the idea that I wrote down was being in denial about a guy friend and his feelings for me. So a lot of accountability being taken in this video first and foremost, but I'm gonna free flow it because I really can't wait to see where I go with this one. It's been so long. At this point, well, we stopped talking. That friendship ended in 2019, I want to say. And we are now in 2025. You understand? So I've known this person technically since I was in middle school into high school. So there's a lot that has gone on. So I'm going to do my best to remember things as best as I can. But it's about me being in denial. Since the beginning, I understood that this man liked me. And I played the best friend card instead. And so that's something that has helped me learn from. But we're going to go down memory lane with me. And I'm going to tell you how delusion is a hell of a drug, because I was delusional about a lot of the friendships and relationships I had because I wanted to stick it out and make it work and really just see the best and all that. And it bit me in the ass. So I want to talk about it openly, and if it does something for you, cool. If not, then we just keep keying, right? We just here. But I was in denial because the day I met this man, it was like in drumming class. So he's a drummer. He was a drummer. I don't know what he does now, but he was a drummer, and we were pretty cool. Like, he was hilarious in my opinion. And I was new to the school because I wasn't in high school yet. I was still in middle school, and he was like 2 grades older than me. And we were just like talking. He was real chill. I had a boyfriend at the time, but he was in my class and all that. So we just talked. It was chill, very cordial, very whatever. But my boyfriend at the time was also a drummer, and he knew him, but he would see how me and him were just like good friends. And my boyfriend at the time had really good girl friendships too. So that wasn't a big deal in my opinion, but like we just had a good vibe. Like his banter was my banter. Still friends, truly friends. And as the friendship developed, we just started getting closer. Like he liked to go to the mall. So we would go to the mall together and it was a vibe. I never really had a close guy friend at the time. Because like I said, middle school into high school. So I'm still pretty young. And all the boys that I had around, like they're just chill, but me and him actually got close. And I was like, oh, I appreciate this friendship. And we saw each other often because I had drum practice all the time. And so I was in the marching band in high school, by the way, for the first 2 years. So freshman and sophomore year, I was a marching band girly. On the side, I also did like drumming, like snare drum and like the cymbals and all that for outside organizations. I actually drummed on the Red Sox field, the Red Sox baseball field, right? Baseball? Oh, jeez. Yes, Red Sox is baseball. I mean, not that crazy. He was a part of like that whole journey too. Freshman year, we're just growing in friendship and I'm seeing him in the hallway. Hey, what's up? Da, 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 whatever. And he lived near where I lived. And so we would take the same bus to head back home. And there were days where he's like, yo, let's just go to the mall. Let's hang out. Let's this, let's that. At this point, me and the relationship I was in, we were dwindling. It wasn't doing too well. Like I said, the timeline, I don't know. My boyfriend at the time didn't love the friendship. But I'm like, you have a bunch of girlfriends. I don't want to hear it. Like, period. You're huggy, all affectionate and all that with all these girls, and I don't give you no trouble. I have one guy friend. Back the fuck up, okay? So I was a pretty stickler girl. And the one issue that I had with some of the people around me is that they were very judgmental about this guy friend because he wasn't the best looking. People were judgmental of his looks, and I didn't care for that. Like, I thought, you're a cool person. I'm good with you. I have no issue. I don't even see looks. Like, truly. My family, there are certain people that would give me little, what's going on? Why y'all so close? Well, I was like, whatever. I don't care. So that was already something I was like, this is weird. Like, his looks, it's not that big a deal. We're friends. Shouldn't be that deep. As the school year goes on, he's giving me little signs and signals that he's into me. He would hint little things. Even after me and the boyfriend broke up, I would talk to other people. He'd call them like jabronis and all they're losers and all that. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is what a guy friend's about, you know, hee-ha. And it just turned into something that he didn't initiate being more than friends, but he would hint at it. And I was just like, okay, is this really happening? I was in denial, for sure. That's the denial alone. Like how he would treat the men that I was around and stuff. It's just this kind of competition, but real low key. Like that's the thing. Jokes get me. Like jokes mess me up because I'm like, ha ha, he, you're being funny. So this is funny. And he was serious most of the time. Later on, I'm realizing this. Honestly, we gonna fast forward because I could go on and on and on. After he like moved away, he was doing his own thing. I was doing my own thing. But cordial, if he came around, there would be no issue. We had no issue. I don't remember at least if we did, I don't know. But then I end up having someone else that I'm talking to or whatever, and he comes back into town. He moved away, then he comes back into town. He reaches out to me. I'm like, oh my God, how are you? Da-da-da. I'm still on the best friend tip. I would consider him my best friend. I would tell him that, like, yo, you're such a good friend to me. Even when you go away for a while, like, I still remember you. I still connect to you, all that stuff. And he would respond to it. There would still be undertones of, yo, what's up? Like, what's up? Jokes, of course, but still like, what's going on? And I'm like, okay. And I just laugh it off like, oh, please, so-and-so, get out of here. You know, I just like mush him away because there's no big deal. Like, we've been friends. Like, that's just how he is. That's just him being him. And also, by the way, this was someone that was like pretty religious, all that. So there was a lot of things I liked about his character and I felt safe around him, not gonna lie. And so even with the denial, it was also like, this man is very religious. He don't play about his religion. He's this, he's that. I respected it. Even when I wasn't religious, I respected his. And so when he came back after he left and came back, he was different. But I still appreciated him. However, whenever he would come around, the consistent thing that I would have to deal with on the low are the people around me not liking him as my friend. And I was like, okay. And they would make different points. Because at this point, he kind of grew up a little. He looked much better. But there was just this thing, this constant thing. Even my best friend at the time, a girlfriend that I had, She did not like him. And then I ended up meeting a guy that I was like talking to at the time who ended up being my boyfriend, but like knew of him and did not like him. Like no one liked him. So I'm like, okay, y'all are seeing something more, but no one could really explain it. They're like, I don't know, like he's just this. And I was just confused. Like, I don't see anything necessarily wrong. Like he's a jokester. We have good vibes, blah, 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 whatever. As my in denial self, I'm still keeping him around and whatnot. But there was one point I got upset with him because he just didn't seem to respect the relationship that I was beginning to walk into with one of my boyfriends. He just made too many jokes at that point, and my boyfriend at the time did not play. So I was like, you know what? I can't do this with you. Like, you don't respect my relationship. So I started to distance myself. It wasn't a big deal with us, but distance ourselves. So now that we're like true adults, I done graduated college. He's doing his thing. He now lives in an apartment with a bunch of guys, and I end up moving in with a roommate. Like, we're in our adulthood. I'm single. He's single. We're like, yo, like we're in our prime. What's up? What's good? And we would just hang out, and we would still be friends though. It would still be the friend thing. I think after a while, he was just over it. And I was in denial. I wasn't seeing that. He would just kind of give me, little text messages. I was just like, I do want you to be the woman that I marry, but I just need to go date a few people here and there. Like, straight up would text me this. But he's a jokester in my head. So I'm making excuses. Like, he's just being him. Like, he's not being serious. And I'm laughing it off. Like, what are you, like, literally in the text, I'm like, LOL, what? Why would you say that? Like, denial, hell of a drug. Like, the man said what he said. He meant it, Davielle. Why are you laughing this off? But at the time, I see good in everybody. I can technically see good in everyone, truly. And I chose to be like, no, he's not serious. But he would tell me his plan. I want you to be my wife, but let me have fun. And I laughed it off. So now we're getting closer. Real close. Like, I'm talking every weekend, yo, there's a party, let's go. Da, da, da. He has his friends, I have my friends. It's just a blast. Like, now all of us are all together, and he's hilarious. So I have my guy best friend that I think I have at the time, plus another guy friend that I think is hilarious and I adore. And all these people I'm meeting through him, he's meeting my people. We're combining friend groups. There you go. And his apartment ended up being like the spot. And so I'm calling my girls to come over. My sister comes over with me at his house. It's a vibe. Drinks on deck. I always bring drinks sometimes. Sometimes he'll have some. Like, we're just having a blast. And he would even talk about other girls he's talking to. I'm like, yo, get your, whatever. And I have guys I'm talking to. And I'll tell him. And he never supported it. But he just knew. Like, we were just open with each other. But we were having fun. Like, this is early 20s, graduated college. Life is good. I'm hitting my drinking peak. Like, I was already drinking a lot in college. Drinking was my escape. I need to talk about that actually one day, but drinking was my escape. I drank like a fucking fish. You know what I'm saying? Like, alcohol. I don't drink anymore, but my goodness, drank like crazy. Anyone that knew me could tell you, Davielle can drink, and she drinks a lot. Like, I'll never play that down because it's the truth. I would find myself in his bed. And I was like, what is this? One thing I know about him and I is I would get drunk until I black out. He doesn't necessarily get drunk. And that was something he prided himself on. He doesn't necessarily get drunk. And he usually remembers everything. I unfortunately, and yes, it's a true thing. If you're looking at me like you don't remember, I'm telling you, it's the truth. And I used to be that person to doubt when my sister wouldn't remember when she would drink. So God taught me real fast, like, oh, you think this is a game? You think people really don't black out? I don't know, I thought I had a shiny thing. But you think people really don't black out? I'm gonna teach you. So a lot of times I would drink to the point of blacking out. But blacking out just looked like no more memory. But I'm still having fun. I'm still being the silly girl. I'm still doing a bunch of stuff. And a lot of my drinking days were pretty good, I would say. But I had bad days. Like, I'm never gonna lay that down. However, I would wake up in his bed and there would be no drama. There was nothing except for, oh, yeah, I was drunk and I'm in his bed, but not as a best friend because I'm naked. So I was just like, okay. And honestly, it's kind of a blur. I'm not going to lie, but I would wake up shocked every time. Like, wait, what happened? He's like, yeah, he kind of got drunk. So, we did do it. I'm like, what? When I tell you, my delusional self continued to go to his house because it's so fun, so this. And I woke up drunk in his bed way too many times, to the point where I had to look at him and be like, can you please help me? Like, I don't want to be doing this. And total responsibility on me. It wasn't his responsibility. I just understood that I'm asking a best friend to help me, and I instead woke up in his bed more often. And so that was my responsibility to handle. I did not have the mental, emotional, smarts capacity, I guess, to end it or to stop going to his house. Until one day I had another episode where, after talking to him briefly, like, can we just, like, come on, I don't know why, and I'm not remembering us doing this, so help me out here. And I'm telling you this, I'm talking months apart. This isn't just like a whole month of this happening. I'm like, please help me. No, this is like, maybe I won't see him for 3 weeks, and then I see him another weekend, and okay, I'm having a party come through, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna support my friend, I'm gonna go through. Or, hey, we want to hang out, like, these were days where I would just forgive it, because I'm like, look, I'm guilty too. Hey, like, I'm drunk, I don't remember, but clearly I have to be at fault because I'm waking up in his bed. It just continued on. I don't even know how many times, to be honest, but it came to a point where one day I woke up in his bed and I just got so emotional and was crying. I felt like I had no control over my body, control over why I'm doing this. And as someone that has a past with sex, it didn't feel right that a man that I really perceive as my best friend, I'm doing this. And so I took enough fault that at one point I was just like, okay, because this keeps happening, I have to draw a line. I'm done. I have to back up. And so I don't remember exactly how it went down, but I know that I made it so clear to him I don't want to do this again. And I didn't feel like there was support on his end to help me. And like I said, I know it was my responsibility. I just know I woke up again in his bed and I just had to draw the line. And I'm a very intuitive person, although I make such insane decisions. I get it. And I take responsibility. I also had to understand that this wasn't a man that was helping me through it. Period. He didn't have to. And so because he didn't have to, I had to make the decision to now distance myself from the friendship. And I had a very stern, like, I'm good on this. And I think we stopped talking for a little while. And then one day he texted me apologizing and asking, can we please talk? Can we please talk? We sat in my car for like an hour or two talking about it. I was like, I can't do this anymore with you. I don't want to have sex with you. Like, this is going too far. And I don't know how I keep finding myself in this situation and you're not helping. And he's like, nah, you're right. Like, I really don't remember the conversation, but he somewhat took ownership, I would say. And I took my ownership and I was like, we just can't do this anymore. Or I just can't be around you. That was the ultimatum. And he was like, nah, you're right. All right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So now we have this conversation and I take him back as a friendship, because at that time I didn't know how to really like end friendships. I did know how, but I would hold on until it's the last straw. I was not this quick to drop people person. No, I tolerated. And so, yeah, he would do little remarks. And mind you, at this time, still, people around me did not like this man. And I'm just like, what? Why, God? Why? And God's like, I'm going to show you. Like, you're going to keep waking up in his bed. You're going to keep this. And I just didn't understand how I kept being in the situation. It felt like it was in a toxic cycle and I couldn't control my own damn body. But I was like, you know what? No, Daviel, you can control it. So we go back to business as usual. Good friends, close friends. At the time, I was living with a girl that I considered my best friend at the time. One day we saw some deals to go to Atlanta. And so me, him, and her, we couldn't get other people, I guess, on board fast enough. Me, him, and her, we went to Atlanta together. And we got an Airbnb. He booked the Airbnb. Long story short, we go out for a night, one night. And I'm, like, pretty tipsy. And I guess I get to a point of, like, I don't think I was blacked out. It was just, like, sleepy. And the next day, the girlfriend that we were with told me that he was seeming like he wanted me to sleep in his bed and was trying to get her to let me sleep in his bed. She thought it was sketchy. And I was just like, what? Huh? Like, I was just like, what? No way. Denial. I was just like, okay, yeah, you sure? Because we had that talk and he said he understood. She's like, I don't know, girl, but I'm just gonna let you know that's what I saw. And I was just like, okay. let it slide, let it go completely. I kid you not, he's still making jokes about me being his wife and about him just letting him date around because I'm the woman he loves and I'm this and I'm that. Still in denial. And now we are in a situation where he is really close to my people now. He's close to my friends. The girl I lived with, he was really close with. I even had her number and everything. And I love that. I'm like, whatever, have fun, who cares? And I'm trying to remember y'all as I'm talking to y'all. Okay, I'm doing my best. But he ends up now meeting one of the guys I'm talking to. And there's jealousy. There's like drama with him, with the both of them, apparently. To the point where the guy that I'm talking to, he's like, are y'all sleeping together? Are y'all together? Because why is he acting like that? Like, there was just little things happening around this man. I'm just like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Men were catching on to the fact that he was so jealous. I felt like I was in a three-way situation. So now time goes on and I have the girl that I live with. They're close to each other. So yeah, back to that story. So they're close to each other and they end up going out alone without me some nights. And there was one night they went out together and I was like, I'm not going to go out. I just don't care to go out. And they're like, please, begging me. I was like, no. Why did they come from the club and he's begging me to let him sleep in my room? Oh, like I've been drinking. I don't want to go home. And like just so many ways. And I was like, no, like I was so heated. Like, you're not coming to my bed. But then I'm feeling guilty. Like, I don't want to hear that something happened to him. And I was like, why don't you just go stay with my friend? Like, what the hell? Like, go in her room. I don't know. And he was like, oh, she has a dude with her. So let me, please, can I come in? Begs me and I'm pissed and I open the door for him. I'm like, just get on the bed, don't touch me, like don't talk to me. And I was so pissed. It's just little games that are being played around me, but I just let it slide. There comes a point where the girl I live with has a girlfriend. It's like this really pretty, very curvaceous girl. A lot of the men that see her think she's beautiful. I thought she was gorgeous, and she would come around like, hey girl, oh my god, like everything's cool, good vibes. And I guess the guy I was talking to before, my roommate ends up hooking her up with him. So now she's talking to him. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. Mind you, I had interrelations and sex with that dude. And to hear that my roommate hooked her up with him, I was just like, well, I mean, that's kind of fucked up, but whatever. That's not my boyfriend, so I gotta let it go. As time goes on, there's drama that's happening with my roommate low key because there's black magic going on. I'm like, y'all, this story is so deep, but he's getting close to a roommate of mine that is now doing things towards me that I'm hearing about. And I'm just like, this is getting crazy. This is getting messy. Like, while you're getting close to this girlfriend, this is a time where I'm distancing myself from her. But I let it slide. I'm just like, whatever, you know what? Maybe I just need to deal with this on my own. I introduced them, so I can't just tell him to stop talking to her because me and her are getting distant, whatever. Something goes down where he's now talking to my roommate's girlfriend. Like, they're actually talking, dating, I guess, if you will. It just felt weird. I can't remember what exactly aggravated me, but I can take responsibility and say, once the sex got involved, I felt very just confused. And that's something I always say, the friends with benefit thing isn't for me. There was just too much intertwined stuff. Like the guy I'm talking to, that girl I was just talking to, now she's talking to my guy friend who keeps saying I'm going to be his wife. Like, there's just confusion in my head. And instead of getting clarity and be like, Daviel, this is toxic, I'm just like weirdly confused, even though it should be clear, like, this is games. This is tough to talk about, y'all, because and I really cared for this guy friend. Like, he was someone that I felt I could truly be myself. Like, everyone that knew us, when you, like, I'm smiling when I think about it, because when you see us, you're just like, y'all are hilarious. We just had a connection. I don't know how to explain it. But when that girl ends up coming in the picture, he starts lying to me about certain things. And then, mind you, I'm forgetting too. Oh my gosh, my cousin at the time, like true blood cousin, ends up coming in town, and she works at a record label and he knew about it, and he ends up going out to dinner with her, but like doesn't tell me. It's like a complete secret. I end up just calling my cousin to be like, hey girl, how are you? Da-da-da. And she's like, oh, I'm at a restaurant with so-and-so. And I'm like, what? Huh? I didn't even know y'all. It was just weird stuff behind my back. And I'm just like, why is this a secret? I don't understand. Like, that's my cousin. Why not just tell me? Like, he was just moving funny. And I didn't understand why he was moving funny with me. And so I kind of like came at both of them like, you're my cousin. You're my guy best friend. So I thought, and why do you need to be out to eat with her and it's a secret? And so there was just funny stuff happening. So back to the story with my roommate and the girl that he was basically talking to at the time. When I find out, it's because it's like secrecy. They're like hanging out and I don't know about it. And I'm like, what's happening? So I like X myself out of the situation. It's not this big dramatic thing at all, but I just X it out. And he's just like, I forget what happens, to be honest. But I end up not talking to him for like a good maybe month, I would say. And then I end up calling him because I'm like, okay, I could take responsibility and be like, you know what? You have the right. Fine. And I even broke down to him finally. I didn't talk about my sexual abuse to anyone at the time. And I finally came out and told him like, look, the reason why I feel so mixy and weird about what you're doing and how you're moving with my cousin, with this girl and us, the sex thing, and then, you know, all this stuff is because I have sexual trauma. And so once you invited sex into the chat, it really affected me. And I'm realizing that. And I'm ready to take responsibility. And I had this conversation very vulnerable with him. And he was just kind of listening, kind of like he was just, but he made it seem like him and the girl who my roommate introduced him to at the time weren't really on speaking terms. But in my opinion, if I remember correctly, made it sound like they don't talk anymore or aren't on talking terms anymore, him and that girl. So whatever, we have a conversation and he seems like he's like, you know, supportive. I thought the conversation was a little weird, but I was like, I don't know. So now I'm at this event and I think he finds out I'm at the event and I'm like, yeah, this is where I'm at. You can come through if you want. He comes through and it's the first time we're seeing each other for a little bit. And it's like we never missed a beat, having a blast that night. And at that point I had like Snapchat and I was Snapchatting the night and it was just a good vibe. I was like, oh, my friend, you know, like he's here. It was so nice to have him, all that. Tell me why the girl that he is talking to, my roommate's friend, has me on Snapchat, sees that I posted him, and I guess is pissed about it, apparently. And I'm not knowing about this, but I don't know about this later. So I'm kind of jumping the gun right now because while we're at that event, I end up finally telling him, by the way, I know you and my roommate have been pretty close, the best friend roommate at the time, but just, you know, me and her do not talk anymore. Like there's some funny shit going on. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm gonna have to tell you later. But just know there's some funny shit. There is like spiritual stuff going on. Like, but I didn't tell him all of that at the time. I was like, I'll let you know after. But because we're at a party, I'm not about to bring this to you. He was like, that's crazy. He was shook. Like, he's just acting like he has no idea that me and her aren't talking. And I'm like, yeah, like you didn't know, I know. But, you know, I got you, whatever. Because I don't know him and my roommate and everyone's all still connected. I really don't. And so now after the event, I text him and I tell him like, so this is what I've been told about my roommate and the stuff that she's been doing has been real foul towards me. But, you know, I'd rather talk to you about it in person when we're, you know, one-on-one one day. But just know, like, she's just not to be trusted. And I was told to not trust her. And he was just like, really? What you mean? He's trying to get information out of me in the text. And I was just like, that's all I could say, but let's talk in person. Tell me why. I think the next day, my roommate knocks on the door. And she says, hey, so homegirl that I let meet your boy, they still talk and still hang out. They've been hanging out this whole time behind your back, very quietly. The day that you texted him, she had his iPad and read everything that you wrote about me. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, she sent me what you wrote. And she was like, and I just want to know why. With all the gumption in me, I said, you know why. You know why I said what I said. And she's like backing up, like, what? It's like, you know why. You know why. And y'all are all still in contact. Oh, okay, this is cute. And we kind of kept it at like this, you know, spirituality. You don't speak about it out loud. She didn't even press me. I was really clear about like, we don't talk. Like, let's not ever get it twisted. He is my friend at the time, so I thought he was my friend, so I'm going to tell him. It turned into something where everything went to shit. And even though me and her weren't talking as much in the house, it turned into a big dramatic thing. And finally, I told God, I hear you loud and clear. this is not a man that I need to be in contact with anymore. This is going too far. There's too much. Like, why would you let me tell you all of this when you have this girl at your house that can see what I'm right? What's happening? What's all this secrecy? I'm not fucking dealing with this anymore. Like, we keep having conversations throughout the years and I'm just tired of it. And that day was like, I want nothing to do with you. He's like, what do you, he ends up driving to my house. Like, what do you mean you want nothing to do with me? Like, what's the problem? And I was just like, you don't see anything wrong. Okay. All right. Well, I'm the delusional one. It's just too much secrecy, too much baggage from what we've been through and like the sex, and then hearing that he wanted to do it again. Then men saying he seems like you talking about, I'm going to be your wife. And then you have a woman that you're messing with and y'all are heavily in it, and this is a girl that I'm just like, and now I have a roommate I'm not close to, but you're getting closer to her and her girlfriend. It's getting too messy. I was like, I just want nothing to do with you. I'm all set. I don't want this anymore. What do you mean? You know, this is a cute girl that's actually interested in me. Like, I'm just trying to give her all this stuff he's telling me. And I'm just like, so go do it. Do your thing. And all I kept thinking was, wow, people have been telling me for years and years. My own sister been telling me for years, like, it's not your friend. I was in denial, completely in denial, and even entertained the whole continuing to go over someone's house that I keep waking up with, keep having sex with, and I'm just in denial that we could still be best friends, even after taking responsibility, all that. It's like sometimes the denial has to end. You have to put the denial to rest. And I finally did. That was the time for us to end it. When something happens back to back to back, God is talking. You have to listen when God is talking. You can't deny it any longer. You're just hurting yourself. And already I'm a lover girl. To know that I'm giving my body away to this person, but I'm calling him my best friend, but it's mixing now when I explain to people who he is to me. It's just, you have to take responsibility, Daviel, and end it. He ends up, writing me and apologizing. And I even wrote him like, I forgive you. It's okay. But I just want to keep this where it's at. We don't need to be friends anymore. We've had a good run. Let's let it be. Let's not let it get any worse. Let's just let it be. The signs are just clear enough. I can't pretend. As much as I want to be like, he can be with that girl, it's not a big deal. Too much secrecy, too much intertwined bullshit. I couldn't do it. And so when he apologized, I forgave him. I said, I'm okay. Like, we're good. He sent me a long thing. I sent him a long thing back. Like, no worries, but let's end it here. I just didn't find a point to keep at a friendship that didn't feel like it aligned with me anymore. I had to let it go. I needed to call myself out a long time ago. I took accountability, but not like this. Because even in the days where we had the rough patches, I still was like, I can't write you off because I have a role in this. I played a part in this, and I even kind of got sucked into it. Like, okay, if I'm having sex with you drunk, then that must mean maybe there's something here. Like, it started to fuck with my mind. It just went down a bad path because in my heart of hearts, I knew this is not the man for me. Please know that delusion is a hell of a drug. Be so for real. Be so real with yourself. Be so honest with yourself about the company you keep, about the energy that you continue to entertain, about even how you carry yourself. If someone's telling you exactly their plan, like, I want to marry you and have kids with you, but I just want to date around. You're like, hee hee ha ha. Is that shit funny? Come on. It was a mind fuck. It was a mind game that I was in, and I was thinking this was my best friend. I think that this isn't all just because of the trauma I've been through, but truly, when I was keeping the secret of my sexual trauma, that was me not being truthful about something I went through in private. And so I have a guy friend where something's continuously happening sexually in private and secrecy. A cycle is replaying in my life that felt very toxic. It's like I'm in bed with someone that I don't want to be in bed with, period. And then I would trick my mind into, well, maybe I do want this, right? Like, maybe this is a vibe. Like, I don't know, right? But every time I'm like, no. And even with him, I'm just like, this isn't it. You know that, right? Still wake up in his bed. To think that I can go through something so traumatic and as a child and never talk about it again and not see it replay in my life in some way, shape, or form, even though it wasn't the same thing, I was still in bed with someone I didn't want to be in bed with. That's a problem. And continuously. That's a problem. So I get passionate about this because it's just accountability. I can point fingers, I can blame and be like, this, that, and the third. Yes, his actions were exactly as I explained. There's no exaggeration here. I had a choice to leave and I didn't. With that many years in, we had a great run. Why let it continue and get any worse? Even when I forgave, even when we worked on the friendship, God still kept showing me this ain't it. I get to still sit with the great memories that we had. We had a blast. You know what I mean? Like, I will never take that away. We had a blast. I feel very whole to know that I can look back and say, hey, I don't hate him. We just ended it where it needed to end. And so I say all that to say, I've been through some things. And lessons have been learned. There's clearly, of course, a lot of judgment that I've placed on myself with this situation for sure. So if you have any added judgment, hey, look, I'm not shocked because I'm judging me too. I've learned so much. I don't even drink anymore. Let's say that first and foremost. I was hiding behind a lot of pain. And in the process of hiding behind alcohol to mute the pain, I was also meeting a lot of people that triggered more pain so that I can speak and let it out and understand my lessons and to learn who to keep around and who to let go of. Not because they're horrible people, but because it's out of alignment. I now understand what a male friendship really is, and I value that. I've had a lot of friends that I've known throughout middle school and high school and even college, and they all can tell you there's been boundaries and we've had a respectful friendship, truly. Where I grew up, not a lot of people could say they've had me. I was an extrovert, like, hi, hey, and I went home and I sat alone when I needed to. I was the girl in college. I'll sit by myself at the lunchroom because, period. I always had boundaries, but there was just a weak point with this guy friend. Anyway, I'll talk in circles. But that's that on that. I have released the delusions as best as I can, and I'm still learning. I'm still growing as I go, but this has helped me to really see myself and understand what I don't tolerate. And I just don't care to not be in control of my body, where I wake up, how I do things because of alcohol, because of drugs. I've never smoked necessarily, really. I've tried it once or twice, but I was never a smoker. I literally dated someone that smoked every day religiously, and I was like, no thank you. I did not care for that. Like, I'm pretty clear on what I will and will not tolerate, and then there were just weak moments, constant weak moments, where I have to learn now, like, oh shoot, you ain't as tough as you thought, but hey, look, you learning, that's okay. It's making you stronger, bolder, brighter, you know, and now I can catch the little things that people say, and I don't have to overreact. I just note it. I'm like, I know what you're doing. Got it. And sometimes that's not the case. And so I have to check myself and make sure that there's nothing living in me that assumes anything either. You know, it's a work in progress, but man, there's been improvement. So I'm proud. All right. Maybe I can take my booty to bed now. Well, once again, it's your girl, Davi L. Thank you so much for making it this far. You really are a real one if you made it this far, because the story was interesting, in my opinion. So that's that on that. Have a lovely, lovely day. Bye. Catch you on the next one.